Enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. What's the news today? Have a drink, have your say. All opinions here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Weddy, GA, and Matt are here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Come and have your say.
Well done, Bartok Schmarzlik. Well done, Andrei Lebedevs. And well done in the NDL to the Leicester Lions. Oh, and by the by, happy birthday, Chris. Only in Speedway. Okay, and welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Sorry about last week's non-show. I'm afraid that was all down to me.
Yes.
Yeah, stuff. So, good evening, everybody. Hi, Matt.
Good evening.
And hi, Chris.
Good evening.
Now, it is Chris's birthday. A bit poorly today, aren't you?
I got a flu.
Yeah, man flu.
I
Man
can
flu.
avoid it out though. I'm a man.
It's Polish flu, I think. Less said about that, the best. We got a few people already on the.
Yes, good evening, Ben Creswell, Jeff Daniels, Pete Clark, Brian Johnson, Andrew Garner, and Alivo.
There you go. There you go. Well, a few things happened since we was last on air.
Yeah, that's true.
We've got a new world champion.
Yep, same as the old world champion.
Same as the old world champion, yeah. Hands up if you're surprised. Okay, that's that one. He rode well.
Yeah, he sort of recovered his mojo a little bit, hasn't he, I think? He had to really work hard in Latvia to get that win in Riga. He really sort of had to dig deep for that one, didn't he? But I think, Voyens, obviously, I haven't seen it because I was away, but from what I can understand, not the best of racings. But
no, there seemed to be a few problems, a few issues with the track.
Yeah, but he did the job, and on to 5 championships now. Just obviously, of course, has equalled Ivan Major's long-standing record of winning 3 in a row. There's only Ivan who'd done that previously, and just one now behind Major and Rick Hartson's
first one to do
record.
It in the GPs, of course.
First one to do it, yeah. Even Rick Hartson didn't manage to do it. So, just as a side note as well, is 29 years old and won 5 world championships. The only other 3 riders that done that. Funding was 34 when he won his 5th one. Rick Hartson 32 and Major 37. So
you've been Googling, haven't you?
I have been Googling, yeah. So the question, of course, now is going to be can he go on and become the 3rd one to get the 6 titles next year? I think the current form suggests that he's going to be the red hot favourite to do it again. It's where the challenge is going to come from for him.
Well, in that sort of vein, there's been a few petitions and so on going on to sort of back the idea of Emil Futinov and the other guy's name's disappeared. Artem Laguta, thank you. To get the wild cards for next year.
Can't see it.
Well, I can't see it because I mean, there's an obvious wild card there anyway for next year, which, Jason Doyle, of course.
Yeah.
But I do feel like he needs a little bit more competition, maybe.
He does, yeah. I mean, he's had different challenges all the way through the year, hasn't he? The one thing that sort of has been overlooked is Robert Lambert finally managed to get on the winning circle, which is obviously great for him. To finally get that long-awaited JP win, and he looks like he looks like he's got as much chance as anybody else of becoming a big rival to Smarslick over the next
possibly, next
couple of years. Now that he's got that win, I think we'll be happy that there's more to follow.
Yeah, The confidence is certainly there, and of course, Dan Bewley is another possibly that one that can.
Yeah, he's still a little bit consistent. When he gets to finals, he tends to win them, doesn't he? But
he didn't win his last one.
That's right. Yeah, but he either gets to the final and wins it, or he just falls short in the semi-finals. Maybe just lacks that little bit of. I still wonder whether maybe his chances would be better served if he moved away from Bellevue, because we saw that last night in the playoff final. He's phenomenal around that place.
Unbeatable.
I just wonder whether he's maybe a bit too comfortable around there, and maybe he could do with a fresh challenge riding somewhere else. I don't think he would, because I think he's pretty much part of the furniture now at Bellevue. But that might be something that he would possibly look at in the near future.
A lot will depend, I suppose, on what the points limit is, and whether they can, because they're going to have to get rid of riders, aren't they?
Oh yeah, you would think so.
Yeah. So it just depends on how all that works out for them. So that's maybe hope for other teams there.
Yeah, that's it. So,
but yeah, so and I mean, Robert Lambert was I should have said well done, Robert Lambert, at the beginning. I knew there was somebody I was missing, and that was who I was missing. Great to get his first one. I think he enjoyed that.
I think he did, yeah.
So that, as you say, that might be where the challenge comes from next year.
Yeah.
Freddie Lindgren, I feel, still has unfinished business in the GPs.
Had it not been for a poor start, then I think he would have been even closer.
Yeah.
But Smalsig at the moment, he hasn't been at his best, certainly in the second half of the season. But he's just, he's still there getting the job done at the end of the day.
So Pete Clark says we've got subtitles.
Yeah, it's a new thing that Facebook have introduced, but I think you can turn it on. I'm looking at it now. It's annoying.
If it's auto generated, I don't know how they're understanding our accent. To be honest,
I'm looking at the subtitles now, and it is comical.
Okay. Before we go any further, we're coming up obviously close to the end of season, and obviously we'll talk a little bit about the Premiership final, the first leg yesterday.
Yep.
But we've all had an idea, and we think it's a good one. We're usually wrong. But we're going to do for our very last show, which is either going to be next week or the week after, weather dependent. We thought we'd have a Speedway Oscars.
Yep. We're all going to turn up in dinner suits next week.
Yep, so. that's the plan. But then we sort of thought, well, what categories would we have? Well, that's over to you. What categories would you like? We want proper ones, and funny ones, and we'll do our best to cover them all. The only thing that I will say is that we will come up with who wins each one, because we ain't got time for votes.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, tough. Yeah, there you go. So get your thinking hats on for that one, please, and just put your ideas up, and we'll go with the best ones and the worst ones.
Of course, yeah.
And probably the ones in between as well.
I believe I've turned off the subtitles.
Okay. I'm sure that will be confirmed
in due course
by our listener.
Okay.
So, let's. We touched on it slightly. The first leg of the Premiership final yesterday looked like it was. First thing that I ought to say is the weather was awful.
Yeah,
I was surprised it was going on. I mean, Colin Meredith did a tremendous job for that flag marshal of the year, says Pete Clark. We're writing that down as we speak. If I get to choose that one, I know who's winning that one. Right, yeah, so, the weather played its part. It's always a problem having the end of the season at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's it.
But you do feel it could have...
I have to say that they got through the meeting very quickly, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Before 9 o'clock it was finished, which shows that they can rush through TV meetings when they've got the inclination to do it. So.
Exactly, that's right. Absolutely, they can. Dan Bewley was... Nobody else seemed to know where to ride. Should we go inside? Should we go outside? Particularly the Leicester lads.
Yeah.
They seemed to go, we'll go inside, and oh no, it's outside. Oh, we'll go outside. Oh no, it's inside. They didn't get it right each time. But Dan Bewley just went, I'm going around the outside because I'm faster than everybody else. And
He was definitely the best rider on view, wasn't he?
it was devastatingly
But,
quick.
I thought Bellevue really just wore Leicester down in the end. I mean, Leicester. I mean, they had a run where they sort of stabilised the meeting from about heat 6 to 12, but they didn't get any heat advantages.
They weren't getting heat winners, were they?
That
That's
was
the
the
thing.
problem they got, and in the end, Bellevue just hit them right hard at the end of the meeting. 18 points is a big lead, but Leicester have beaten Bellevue at Beaumont Lee Stadium by 16 and by 20 this season. So don't write off Leicester yet. I think it looks unlikely. I think because Bellevue obviously had a superb performance in the second leg against Sheffield in the semi-final as well. Because I think most people thought that maybe Sheffield had done enough in the first leg to pull that back at Alderton. Yeah. I think Bellevue definitely in the box seat, but don't write Leicester off. And I think quite a philosophical interview I thought at the end of the meeting from Stuart Dixon, the Leicester team manager. But I think privately he'll be kicking a few of his riders backsides before Thursday because a lot of them just didn't step up to the plate.
No.
I thought they looked, but I think the heads dropped on.
I think there was a little bit of, like I say, the track changed over the course of the meeting, and they never seemed to make the right decision about where to go. They was making gates and getting gobbled up, and sometimes they'd go on the inside, and the rain has just come down, and it was the outside that was, or then it got worse, and he should have been down the inside, and they went around the. They'd seemed to make the wrong choices.
Leicester
and they got gobbled up.
Leicester have got riders who ride well at Bellevue. I mean, I know Sam Musters, Ryan Douglas, and particularly Ryan Douglas and Luke Becker have always used to do well at Bellevue when they were there for Wolves. So I was certainly expecting Leicester to keep it. I fancied Bellevue to win it because Bellevue's home form is excellent this season. But I thought Leicester would get a little bit closer than they did. To be fair, I just thought maybe their heads dropped a
It
little bit.
felt like that they was going to keep it there or thereabouts, didn't it? For a big part of the meeting.
But like you said, didn't have enough heat winners and no heat advantages. Did they have? Was it one heat advantage they had? I think. Might even not.
I think I think they had 1-4-2, didn't they? And I think they only had 2 heat winners, as if I remember right.
Yeah, not enough.
All night.
Not enough.
We've had a few.
Go back.
Yeah. Okay, we've had a few comments on our Oscars. Thank you very much.
Fix the Airbags Award.
Flag Marshal of the Year award. Time it takes to inflate the year. Speedway commentator. Best broadcaster. Eurosport, BSN, and the team on broadcasts. So I'm writing all these down. I'm not saying I go, best mechanic mate who got in for free the most times. I might have to consult you for that one, Pete. I like that.
It's got to be best guest as well. That's got to be one, isn't it, for a Speedway?
Yeah,
award.
best guest. Well, that's okay. So we all know who's going to win that one.
Yeah. He's actually outside the studio waiting to come in and receive it now. So.
Midland Speedway Podcast of the Year.
Is there another one?
Is there?
Not in the Midlands, I don't think. Yeah, there was. Why Simon Corbett's asked why no tactical subs in the playoffs? Well, because it's run over 2 legs. It was felt that it evens out, doesn't it? And if you have a situation where you have, I think Peterborough did it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Famously. If you have a situation where you just get tactical subs at one match, it's a bit uneven, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah,
right.
I think the meeting you were thinking of was, I think it might have been the 2006 final between Peterborough.
It was 2006,
and
yeah.
But I mean, to be honest, I thought that was Reading's own fault because they got caught out by that twice. To get caught out in the first leg, yes, and to get caught out in the second leg because Reading were excellent in that second leg at Peterborough, but you just thought, why are they just trying to get further? You could see why they were trying to get further and further, obviously because they wanted to win the meeting, but they were always going to get caught out by the tactical ride. And
yeah,
Peterborough pulled it off, and they pulled off what was a phenomenal result, and still a meeting that a lot of fans talk about to this day. It was a whatever the ways and whatever people thought about the playoffs and the tactical rides, you can't deny that was probably the greatest.
Of course, in those days, you used to have two black and whites
Yeah.
and double points, which is what turned it around for them.
Should say third best player for 2002 and 2009 and 2016 were all better
We had a few more.
for obvious reasons.
We've had a few more. We're giggling over a few more of the Oscars here. Best guest, obviously. Most miserable poster on the BSF. There's a few for those.
Worst guest.
Worst guest.
Yeah, who did
Wasn't
not-
Pete on?
Who did not turn their fuel on and award. I love that one. Okay. I can't write that fast.
The Edward Kennett Award.
For the shortest season.
Yeah. Worst referee, no contest.
Okay.
Simon.
Most disappointing rider that you thought would do well.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And biggest signing of the year in Premiership and Championship. That's a serious one.
Yeah, most improved, most improved rider. That's another one that's.
The Rider
Yep.
Waste of Space Award.
I'm going to have to go through these out later. I can't write them all down. But okay, that's great. Some of those are great, and some of those are
non-broadcast.
great in a different way. That was like you've got facts and you've got virtual facts. Yeah. Worst female referee.
Come on, we can't say that.
I don't think we're going there.
Are there many female referees?
There's a couple, isn't there? I'm not sure how many there is. Somebody out there will tell
Yes,
us.
I think the referee's performance in the semi-final between Ipswich and Leicester was pretty decisive in that meeting. I thought. To be honest, Richie Hawkins certainly. I mean, I thought Richie Hawkins was about to.
Should we say explode?
Make a big mistake when he was doing his interview. I think he just about stopped himself in time. To be fair, but it was.
We're talking about that. Brian Reeson says, going back to the semi-final, Leicester versus Ipswich. Watched terrible referee decisions made on the night. Richie and Chris must have been pulling their hair out. Most poorest ref.
Very, yeah. It was really frustrating because Ipswich rode really well. They've had a horrific run in the second half of the season with injuries and certainly losing their top tier riders. And I think they really have to dig deep in that final there. And I think in the end it just caught up with them. But the referee's performance certainly didn't help.
No, not at all. And you do expect your referees to get important decisions like that right.
Well, especially when you consider that they've got the benefit of being able to watch it again on the TV. So.
Best Speedway Tavern presenter. Oh, fight.
So when we present that that award, my two co-presenters are going to be rolling around on the floor, wrestling to try and take the award off it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing like arrogance. And,
But we have clothes on.
we can't do worst female referee with the initial CT. I'm sorry, we can't do that. Ben Cresswell, Emil should be in the SGP next year.
I don't think he'll be at Ipswich next year.
Really?
No.
Do you think he'll be riding in?
No.
Okay.
I think anybody who saw the interview Richie Hawkins did before I think it was the first leg of the semi-final, it was a pretty awkward interview, to be fair.
I saw that. Yeah.
I was quite surprised actually that they asked him that because they usually shy away from controversial questions, don't they? But I think it was a perfectly brilliant question. He'd ridden for his Polish club, so why wasn't he riding for his British club? There seems to be still a lot of mystery about the injury that he sustained as well. But just a gut feeling I've got is that I hope I'm wrong because he's been such a breath of fresh air. It's been great to see him back in British Speedway because he's a classy performer. There's no two ways about that. But just get this feeling that we're not going to see him next year, which would be a shame. But
Brian Johnson says Chris Holder was a superb rider for me, the man of 2024, no doubt. Knockout Cup winners, top of the Premier, semi-final, 3-bike breakdowns at Bellevue, sealed their deal up the Sheffield Tigers.
he was excellent in the first leg at Bellevue in their semi-final, wasn't he? He was Sheffield's best rider, I thought.
And Ben Cresswell says, oh no, love watching Emil at Foxhall. Well, just because we've said it don't necessarily mean it's going to happen. just say, this is all opinions. We don't deal with facts here.
That's true.
Just like Speedway.
We just make it up.
Yeah, just like Speedway.
Just like
Speedway.
We don't know what we're doing.
No, just like Speedway. Okay, that's
Keep that going.
That's my new phrase of the year.
That's the next got to be the only Speedway.
Yeah,
that's
just
gonna be
like
one.
Speedway.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we think that the final is over?
No,
No.
I don't think it's over. Personally, I would put Bellevue as warm favourites, but Leicester, they'll certainly have to ride a lot better. I think they'll have the benefit, of course, because it is a track, Leicester, where there is a bit of a home advantage on there, and Bellevue's away form this season hasn't been great. I think somebody put on the chat as well that one of those wins that Leicester had, Bellevue didn't have Dan Bewley, so that would have weakened them slightly as well.
Yeah.
So that's something that's got to be taken into consideration. But I think Bellevue are favourites, but I don't think it's I don't think should be putting the chiseling the name on the trophy just yet.
No, because everybody was thinking Ipswich were favourites last year when they were 18 points in front. And
That's
then,
right, Sheffield.
Sheffield, they did a job on them, didn't they?
Yeah. Leicester need to make a fast start on Monday. They've got to sort of get
Yes.
a big lead quite quickly.
Yes.
And then I think if he gets to heat 8 or 9 and Leicester have only pulled 4 points back, 4 or 6 points back, then I think it's going to be too much to pull back. Then they've got to make a really, really strong start.
Rich Thomas wants to do them. Can I say that? This is what Rich
got a
Thomas
sense of
said.
humour.
Yeah, the Mark Robinson Award for Worst Speedway Facebook page. And Pete Clark says, how many new watches has Dan Bewley had this season?
Chris Wallace says, Clive Woodier says, will Ty get a wild card? I don't think he will.
I don't think Ty thinks that he will.
No.
Having read a couple of interviews and so on with him, so I mean, you got to look at it. Who's going to get the wild card? You've got to be Jason Doyle's got to get one, hasn't he? Surely.
Yeah, I would think so.
And the other one would go to.
Well, Lebedev's is already in, of course, because he's won the.
Yes.
Should say I was bitterly disappointed with him that he didn't win the Grand Prix in Latvia, because he was probably the best rider on the night.
Yeah.
He really did. When he won his
He was good.
won his first 4 races and just fell short in the semi-final.
So, yeah. A lot's going to depend on who makes into the. And we should say congratulations to both the British riders. They're actually confirmed for next year's
they are,
SGP now.
I'm trying to think the last time we had 2 riders who confirmed this place is quite early in the World Championship for the following season. It's got to be quite a few years now.
Probably Ty and Chris Harris, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't think Bomber. I think Bomber always seemed to get in via a wildcard. I think he got in the top 6 once. I think.
Right.
Probably. Yeah. Maybe Bomber and Scott Nichols did 1 year. I think probably about 2007. But that's probably about the last time. I think so.
Sam Masters has sent me a picture of.
You've only got 6 and 2 at Leicester in the league, according to Dave Twine.
Sorry, Phil has sent me a picture of Sam Masters, who's saying he had to take his goggles off last night to race, saying it was bad conditions at Bellevue.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, it was bad conditions. There's no getting away from it. As far as I can tell, none of the riders. I certainly heard of no complaints. They sort of just got on with it, which we should congratulate them.
The track was fine. I thought the track was fine, to be honest. I don't think Leicester could blame the track for that result last night. They just weren't good enough.
Clive Woodier says the wild cards will be Doyle, Frick, Janowski or Kurtz. Out of those.
Would they pick 3 Australians? Janowski, I think, is a decent shout because he's done well. I think Max Frick may well be one of them as well. So, but I don't know whether Brady Kurtz would get it.
No, that does seem one too far.
Quite surprised.
We shall see.
Yep. Of course, we've got the small matter of the Championship Player Final, which of course starts tomorrow between Oxford and Poole.
Now, you've got to say, you can only really see one winner here, can't you?
Well, let's do a little bit of build-up for that one then. So, Oxford's captain Scott Nichols says their league win at Poole earlier in the summer should provide a confidence boost as the 2 sides meet in the Cab Direct Championship Grand Final this week. Nichols said it should make a big difference because we've been down to Poole this season and come back with a very positive result. It means whatever result we pick at Oxford in the first leg, we can head to Poole with confidence. Well, meanwhile, Poole promoted Dan Ford has confidence that the club's two guest choices for the grand final, as captain Ben Cook misses the clash with Oxford. Danny King will step in for the first leg at Cowley on Wednesday, with Chris Harris taking over in Friday's semi-final at second leg at Wimborne Road. Ford said Danny King, a former Pirates captain, knows this club and what it means to compete in the big moments, having led us to our 2 previous league titles at this level. Chris is one of the most exciting riders in British Speedway and an absolute legend around Wimborne Road. He's known and loved for producing fireworks, especially in high pressure meetings like this, and we know that the fans are in for a treat. I must admit, I had forgotten until I read that Oxford have actually been down to Poole this season already and won. So
I think they're probably the only ones that have.
yeah, and that's Ben Cook's had a terrific season, isn't he? That's going to be a big miss.
We should say
yeah,
get
we
well
should,
soon to Ben Cook. However, they've replaced him with Chris Harris.
Yeah.
And
Bomber loves riding in the playoffs, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Apart from when he's got a wall race jacket.
Loves riding at Poole in the playoffs.
He does, yeah. Both for them and against them, so yeah. I mean, Danny King's obviously he knows the Poole track like the back of his hand. He's not had a great season, has he, though, Danny King, unfortunately. I think he's had a couple of seasons where he's sort of been off the ball a little bit. Yeah, I don't think it's Poole, as you say, Poole are going to be the favourites, but I wouldn't write Oxford off just yet. I think that might be quite close, to be fair. I think a lot of it's going to depend on what happens in the first leg.
As per normal.
Yeah.
As per normal. But, I mean, Poole has certainly got the ammunition, you'd think, to go to Oxford and
Oxford
beat them.
well, Poole will want to go there and try and make sure they take a lead to Wimborne Road. I think if they can get the noses in front by the time the second leg starts on Friday, I think they'll feel that they're in with a box seat to win it. So.
Pete Clark says the Nigel Tolley hat wearer of the year.
Has he got any more? Whether there's any more than he can.
More hats.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I feel Poole has got a strong favourites.
I think they are the favourites. Yeah, I mean, they've had a terrific season again, haven't they? They sort of started off maybe a little bit slowly, but they've sort of built momentum as the season's gone on.
Yeah.
Oxford, of course, have already announced that they're going to be doing the same thing again next season, running in all 3 leagues. So obviously,
it's obviously worked for them.
They obviously know already that that's going to be the structure for 2025.
Talking about wild cards again. Mickelson or Jack Holder will need a wild card. Holder needs 5 points to get in top 6 to overtake Mickelson, who is out injured.
Yeah, I've forgotten that. Obviously, it was that was a horrible crash really between Mickelson and Smarslick in Latvia. So we wish Mickelson all the best because he's had a terrific season. He's again another one who sort of seemed to be struggling for confidence at the start of the season, and then had that Grand Prix win. I think it was Landshut that he won.
Yep.
And he's built on that, and he was I think up until he got the injury, I think he was 3rd or 4th in the championship. So
yeah.
So if he misses out, then I think he's pretty much a shoo-in to get a wild card based on his form this year.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
Best Speedway brothers in Speedway.
All time or currently?
It's got to be 2024 season, hasn't it? Okay. Or I suppose we can. No, it doesn't have to be 2024. Okay. But then there's an obvious winner, isn't there?
Yeah.
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 Collins family.
Oh, right.
Collins family's got. That's who you was thinking of, I presume.
Well, I think the Moran brothers might have something to say about that.
All right. I mean, you got the
So.
Graham brothers as well.
I thought that's what came to my mind straight away. Graham.
We're all surprised to hear you've got a mind. But, okay.
Only just.
Okay, so we should congratulate Leicester Lions for winning the NDL.
They did, yeah. Again, obviously lost out last year to Oxford. I believe it was Oxford who won it last year. But Leicester have been pretty strong in that league, haven't they? In recent seasons, they of course they were targeting going through the season unbeaten, but of course they did lose the final match last week at Edinburgh. So I suppose they'll be a little bit disappointed that they couldn't go through the whole season unbeaten. But again, they won the league by. I mean, they finished 8 points in front of Oxford. There's still a couple of matches to go. I think off Bellevue and Sheffield have still got the last match to run in the National League.
It's a funny league, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's it's
I
just-
would hope that a few more teams from the Championship and the Premiership will enter some National League teams, because there's, it's 5 extra matches.
Yeah.
It's not as if we've got a league in either the Championship or the Premiership that's got tons and tons of
Yeah,
matches.
and of course, Melbourne All, of course, have announced that they're not going to be able to put a team in for next year. So that's
Yeah.
that's
a
a big
blow.
blow for the National League, because I think they were sort of banking on Milton All coming back into the league next
Yeah.
season. So, although I think from what I heard, the plan initially was for Milton All to actually go up into the Championship. So,
Which of course they have been before.
yeah, I think the last time didn't they lose every single match the last time? I think they did, didn't
I think
they?
they did, yeah. We understand how that feels, or nearly.
Yeah.
Nearly. Dave Albrighton's given the answer to the award of most guest appearances of the year, Chris Harris.
I don't think it was most guest appearances. I think it was best guest, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I think he's got a new.
Yeah.
He's done a
Okay.
new category and told us who's
Yeah,
won it.
we'll go through these during the course of the week, and when we do the ceremony next week.
Another one here. Best rider, father and son combo. John and Chris
That's
Lilly.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Is that a rarity?
Hmm?
Is that a rarity? Father and son
Father
combo?
and son
Well,
riding at the
those-
same time.
well,
maybe.
they didn't ride at the same time.
Did they not?
Phil Crump and Jason Crump rode at the same time, because I think Phil Crump was right at the end of his career. Though, when
I'll give you
Jason
Ivan
stopped.
Major and Kim Major.
Yeah, Kim Major was supposed to have been quite decent, wasn't he?
He was okay.
Yeah.
He didn't,
Tony Briggs and Barry Briggs, of course, as well. Tony Briggs, I know my dad says Tony Briggs, he rated him very highly, because he had a really bad injury, didn't he?
Did any of those ride in the same team at all together, or not?
I don't think
don't
so.
think so, no.
Don't think so. Jeff Daniels, Aces will need a massive collapse to lose this final. Kurtz and Bewley are in good form. Lidsey is going since he brought his Polish engines over. He has been doing well. And the one who will tip the balance is NKI, who has scored 21 points from his 2 visits there this season.
I tell you, he impressed me last night, Everson, with his commitment as a guest. Because he's not had a vintage season for Kings Lynn,
No.
but he really showed signs of the Niels Christian Everson of old, I thought, last night. And Lidsey, of course, who's obviously been.
It's his sort of track, of course, Bellevue,
Yeah.
isn't it? Wide open.
Yeah, Lidsey rode well as well. I mean, obviously, as Jeff said there, he's bought his Polish engines over there, because obviously the playoffs now in Poland are finished. So that's obviously going to bode well for Bellevue as well. Although whether a big fast engine is going to be what you need at Leicester, I don't know.
Yeah. Need to get out of gates. I mean, I've been a little bit unfair on Leicester, because I think the track has improved over they seem to make improvements every year.
Yeah.
So it has got better, brother.
Yeah, I still think it's a bit of a shame, because you look at all the space that they've got there, they could have really built something special, I thought. But
Yeah, the corners are too tight, aren't they?
yeah, it's a shame, because it's a nice little, it's a really well set out little venue.
it is.
It's very, very small place.
I wish Birmingham had got something like that. I really do. And it's I go back to that. It's tracks in fields,
Yeah.
which is essentially what Leicester is. It's a track in a field.
Track in the field at the back of an industrial estate, so it was ideally placed. You're not going to disturb anybody there that is going to be around.
Anyway, that's my soapbox on that one. We should talk a little bit about what is the time. Oh, pie. Okay. We said well done to Andrei Lebedevs. He's won the European Championship.
Yeah.
Did you see the meeting?
I didn't know.
No. Track was not great. Caught Tom Brennan out.
Yeah.
Very, very grippy all of a sudden on the inside. And he was lucky not to pick up an injury, to be honest.
Still hasn't really captured the imagination as a European Championship, I don't think. I think when it was sort of introduced, I think the plan was for it to become bigger than the Grand Prix series, but it hasn't really.
How can it?
Can't be.
How can it? I don't understand how you would think that. Do you think any teams will change leagues next season, like Oxford and Birmingham coming up this season? Well, Birmingham were up, or you didn't notice it. I don't know. Oxford, do you think?
Well, they're already up, aren't they?
Of course, they're already up.
Yeah.
What am I saying? They're in all leagues. Yeah,
What are you on about?
Yeah, what's Ben on about? I understand. I've got it now. Do we think any teams will change leagues next season, like Oxford did and like Birmingham did last season? That's what he means.
Yeah.
Okay,
I knew what it meant.
yeah. Okay, got there now. Eventually. Well, who would be the candidates? Paul?
I don't see Paul coming back up.
No. Glasgow?
Can't see that either.
No.
I think the problem with Glasgow is it's just too far out, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The only way Glasgow, I think, would move up is if one of the other northern teams came up as well. I don't see which one would.
Was it just
No, I
logistics, you mean?
Well, if Glasgow moved up there, their local derby would be Bellevue.
Right, okay.
So it's
Yeah.
it's a decent.
Yeah.
It's not like hopping just across the other side of the road, is it? So
I can't think of anybody else.
I don't think there's anybody that sticks to mind
So,
that would
possibly no.
No.
Somebody asked earlier, actually, and I meant to comment on it. How do they know that there's going to be 3 leagues next year?
Oh, they're already all have had meetings, won't they, about next
That's
season?
what I was going to say.
There's no
Yeah.
doubt about that. Yeah, as much as we think it's all done on the back of a fact packet, they do have. They do have.
Lots of fags.
Yeah.
Just like Speedway.
Just like Speedway, where that's gonna go and go. Right, so I'm wondering whether anybody else there is going to give us some serious
Yeah.
nomination.
Graham Oldfield says Ollie and Jakob Olsen, yes. The less said about Jakob Olsen's career, the better. See, for Wolves, he was awful.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
You've got to elucidate. I do not know this Jakob Olsen.
Yeah, I think he was he rode for Coventry as well. They both rode for Coventry because I can remember he rode. I think his last meeting at Coventry was at the end of '94, and I remember we were talking about this and saying, because he hadn't had a very good night. And we were thinking, I'd hate to see him ride for Wolves. And then a few weeks later, we blooming signed him. Didn't we? So I think basically Wolves signed him on the strength of his surname. Yeah,
Yeah.
But he was. I mean, listen, he was. His old man was a 3 times world champion. He was never ever going to match him, was it?
So Dave Twine's guess is that Glasgow and Edinburgh will come up and King's Lynn will go down.
I'm not so sure. I don't think Edinburgh would come up.
Here's the thing about that. Where would the riders come from?
Well, we still don't know what's happening with Edinburgh, don't we? Because, of course, their proposed move to their new stadium has gone very, very quiet.
Very quiet, yeah.
I mean, we don't even know what's happening with Armadale. I mean, how much is... how much longer are they going to be out? Because that site, from what we understand, is still earmarked for redevelopment. So
Yeah.
how much
Yeah.
longer is they going to be able to say, well, we'll have one more year at Armadale?
It's
More year at Armadale.
It's a god-awful situation that Speedway has got itself into. And they've got itself into this situation by borrowing stadiums.
Yeah.
And I'm back on my theme now, aren't I? They need to start planning for the future, and it's tracks in fields. It's the Somerset model. It's the Leicester model.
Yeah.
It's the Workington model.
Plymouth as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, they obviously...
You get control of your ground. So you get the concessions that are on the ground. You get you say what goes on there and what doesn't go on there. You're in control. That's what you need to do, and they need to start doing it now. Otherwise, we're so close. You must feel it. We're so close to losing this as a sport in this country. Really, that close. We're a hair's breadth away at the moment.
And when you consider some of the young talent that we've got coming through now, it's a crying shame that we're in this position that we're starting to see some really good English riders now, or British riders, come through on the international stage, and yet we're losing all the tracks that they can race on over here. So we're gonna have some great riders, but no tracks to race on. The way things are going.
If it did all collapse, I mean, if it did, what would happen? I mean, would it go amateur? Would it all be grass track or?
Well, where would it run?
Where would it run?
Yeah,
that's the point. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
There are no
Where
grass
would it
tracks.
run?
No.
There are grass tracks, and grass tracks are going fine, but it's a different. And we don't get enough people coming. It used to be where you got all your riders from was from grass tracks.
Yeah.
that's where the Collins came from. That's where Morton brothers came from.
Yeah. I mean, at the
That's
moment-
another brothers that
At
nobody's
the moment,
mentioned.
it seems to be the motocross sort of
Yeah.
scene that a lot of the riders are coming from now. I mean, the grass track scene really got decimated by the foot and mouth outbreak in 2001, I think, because that sort of, badly affected their season. So, but as I say, at the moment, as Ben said there, it does seem like Speedway is, being run now by Poland, And
I've got to take issue with that. I know what you're saying, and I know what Ben's saying, but I've got to take issue with that because I come from an era when Speedway was run by this country, when the Polish riders were coming over, or Czechoslovakian riders are coming over, and we were dictating, no, they can't go to that meeting, they're over here, So we can't blame them for doing that because we did exactly the same. We've let ourselves get from that position to this position. And Poland have got the advantage of they are run. They're sort of like a football situation in Poland, aren't they? Where and they've got councils running them and so on because it brings the revenue it brings into a city, and so
which means they get all these fantastic all-seater stadiums that we haven't got over here. So
Are they not owned by? Are they owned by the Speedway clubs, these stadiums, or
no, they're usually in football stadiums, aren't they?
Oh right,
They run in.
Wow.
yeah.
They're big tracks.
They must be
They're big tracks.
stadiums.
Yeah.
Big tracks, and they get big crowds as well. So
Yeah, they get football-sized crowds. Although that seems to have, over the last few years, been taking a bit of a dive from what I've heard.
two of them, haven't they? Sweden's the same. I mean, there's even in terms of riders coming through, there doesn't seem to be anything at all coming through in Sweden now.
No.
You think of a nation with a massive pedigree in speed like Sweden.
So we've got to go back to basics.
Yeah.
And the most basic you can get is a track in a field.
Mm-hmm.
Build a fence around
Just got to
it.
find a field.
This is, I'm nobody just pretending it's easy, but that's, Pete Clark says Speedway Track Volunteer of the Year. I think he wants an award.
Yeah.
I think Pete wants an award. Yeah, I think
He's
that's
actually standing outside waiting, though. So.
Oh, yeah. Right, well, we haven't... Oh, yes, we should say that. Thanks, Susan Jordan. Congratulations to the Birmingham Monarchs Cycle Speedway team on retaining the title this year.
I saw that. Yeah. Well done. They've been going for a few years now, haven't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Your dad was heavily involved with it.
That was at Samwell.
Sandwell.
Oh, Samwell, yeah. Remember,
Well, it was Albury Lines initially, and then it became Samwell Lines. So.
Yeah, I remember going over to watch a meeting. Yeah,
We
good.
actually broadcast
We
from
did,
there.
that's it, yeah,
We
that's
actually
right,
broadcast from
Well,
there.
having watched it, you'll know that it's a harder sport than it looks.
Well, it is, yeah.
You've got to be pretty. You've got to be pretty ruthless.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, you've got to be a complete nutter, to be honest.
Just like Speedway.
Just like Speedway. Yeah.
Okie dokie. Well, shall we? We missed it for 2 weeks on the run. I've no idea what's going on in the league table. Shall we have a look at
Probably
it?
won't want to know. Hang on, so it's just studio mode. We don't want that one.
Not as many fixtures this week, so it's hopefully a little bit easier for people to read. So
We'll try.
Oh, we still got.
there we go.
Oh,
That's a bit better.
oh, that looks better. Okay, so Simon Corbett still winning with 190 points. Elliot Hunt 184 and John Bird 180 and Rich Thomas 180. It's quite close at the top, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's still Simon Corbett might be getting squeaky bum time. Who knows?
Oh, I can't see him losing himself.
No. Matt's still strangely in front of me and you. How did that happen? I'm down in 18th and you're down in 19th.
Yeah,
and the 3 points
Still
difference.
that 3 point gap. Yeah.
We should. That's okay. I do not want to finish underneath the brown.
I don't want to feel. I don't want to be on top either.
Well, okay. Okay, shall we?
there's
crack
not
on with
too many
this?
fixtures again. Of course, we're getting to that stage of the season where we're starting to wind down now, aren't we? So the first one is tomorrow night, the first leg of the Championship Grand Final, Oxford against Poole.
Okay, and Matt, you went last time, so Chris, it's your start.
I'll go Oxford by 6. As a joke's on this week.
See, I've just realised if I just say the same as him, I can't lose.
Yeah.
Let's make, just because I'm hoping it'll be interesting, I'll say Oxford by 8.
I'll say Oxford by 4.
Kidoki.
Okay. Next up is the second leg of the Premiership Grand Final, Leicester against Bellevue.
That's it. So, Mike.
Okay. Leicester versus Bellevue. I'm just giving scores that I want to happen, basically. So I'm going to say Leicester by 18.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that. I'll say Leicester by 14.
Okay.
I'll go Leicester by 12.
Okay, so we're all giving the title to... Well, you might be not be giving the title, necessarily giving the title to Bellevue. You'll be a runner for it, so... Okay. Yeah. So, Friday, second leg of the Championship Grand Final, Poole against Oxford.
Poole versus Oxford, and that will be Poole by... Actually, sure, go first.
Poole by 10.
Okay.
Poole by 8.
Poole by 12.
So that would give us Poole as the championship champions then. Okay, on Sunday, BSN Series Final, first leg, Scunthorpe against Poole.
That's up to you, Chris.
Scunthorpe by 6.
Draw.
Scunthorpe by 8. Okay, and finally on Monday, it's Bellevue against Sheffield.
And
Up to you,
that's
isn't
up to me, isn't it? Yeah.
Think carefully, Mike. Think carefully.
Yeah, Bellevue by 6.
Bellevue by 14.
Okay.
Bellevue by 10.
Okay.
And that's it.
My life.
Interesting.
We won't be.
not many
We're not
matches.
doing. We obviously we're conscious of the Alan Graham Memorial meeting, but we're not going to be doing that because we haven't got any details
We've
on on that yet. So
Got no details whatsoever. In fact, if Lawrence, if you're out there, I haven't seen you on tonight. Can you give us some news, please? On that would be really nice.
Oh, I've got a question. This week's question.
Okay.
From me. The most intimidating place you have ever been to, or maybe there hasn't been one. A place where you thought
In Speedway terms, yeah.
And a place where you thought, you thought twice, thinking I'm never going to go here again.
I'm guessing I know where you're going to say.
does it begin with C by any chance?
Yes.
It could be.
Yeah.
To be fair, Eastbourne was quite could be quite intimidating as well.
Yes. In fact, I experienced Eastbourne in the when we was in the National League, and that was interesting.
Yeah.
But we beat them, so it was even better.
But did you ever get to a stage where you thought, I don't really want to come here again?
Not
or
particularly.
I want to go?
No, not particularly.
No.
Halifax,
Halifax.
Was this in the days of Kenny Carter?
in the days of Kenny Carter, yeah. Yeah, tended to hide in the corner a little bit while watching, and we usually got beat, of course.
I think Bradford was somewhere as well that could be quite. There was always a bit of needle, particularly between Wolves and Bradford. So
Halifax aren't running, are they? They don't run, do they?
No.
I know they've got a Facebook page, haven't they?
No, they haven't run for a
Long time.
tidy while. Be interesting to know what other people's thoughts are on that track they felt most intimidated on.
I suppose Coventry and Leicester fans are going to say each other, aren't they? So
Yeah.
it's a shout. I'd love to have seen a Coventry Leicester derby. I mean, maybe one day we will if Coventry can find a way back. So
Rich Thomas says Eastbourne with Bob on the tractor.
yeah.
Brian Johnson says Bellevue every time. And Clive Woodier says bet Bombers riding in the Birmingham meeting. It's a good chance there. He could ride for Coventry and Birmingham, couldn't he?
Yeah.
And guest falls.
Don't put any ideas in his head.
Paul by 6, Connie by 6. All the
Predictions coming through.
predictions
Yeah,
coming through.
keep posting them. So
Yeah, there might have been a bit of a lag there, I think, probably. We've just woke up.
Okay, so I've got to ask Matt, because you haven't had a team this year, and it's sorry to bring that up. So this is been able to watch a Speedway season without those emotional ties a little bit. So what sort of season do you think this has been? A good season for Speedway? Your thoughts on the season as a whole?
some good, some bad. I think at times it's been a little bit bitty. I haven't really enjoyed the stop-start nature of matches. I think that's been a big problem at Birmingham. They've had, earlier in the season when there was times when there was 3 or 4 weeks between meetings. I don't think that's good, because people then get out of the habit of going. It's been interesting watching it as a neutral, if you like, and sort of seeing Speedo from a different aspect with that, as you say, that emotional attachment and wanting to see your team win. I haven't seen as, I did a bit of a calculation earlier on. I think I've seen about 18 meetings this year, which is by far the lowest in 33, 34 years. But obviously the last few years, of course, I've been twice a week, actually watching Wolves and then watching Birmingham on the Wednesday. So, it's been a little bit of a strange one. I thought it would be. Really around about sort of March time was when it started to hit me, to be fair, that obviously seeing everybody else getting their teams ready and we're just sat there on the sidelines.
Fred Graham says, get yourself up to Scottish derbies. It can be heated at times.
Yes, I think that's quite a...
Is that an understatement? Are we saying for that? Can't hear a word you're saying, sorry.
I think if they had a domino league up there, it would be the same. Scottish.
Yeah, Ben Chris was saying, any tracks you haven't been to yet that you would like to visit next year? I've not been to Vauxhall, Ben. To be fair. There's only Ipswich and Kings Lynn in the top league I haven't been to yet. Oh, not in Oxford. I've never been to Oxford either.
There's now a few that I haven't been to, because Workington I haven't been to.
Yeah. Ipswich
I haven't been to. Bellevue, strangely, I still haven't been to.
Workington is one that's definitely on my list. It's the only problem really with Workington is it's a long old slog up there. So, but it's I like what I've sort of heard about the track, and it obviously looks like it's in a fantastic setting as well. So,
Fred Graham says, agree with Matt with the stop-start nature, especially in the Championship. As I've said before, 5 to 6 weeks without a meeting is not great. 5 to 6 weeks without a meeting, that's a close season.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Especially in August, because that should be the peak time when you're getting as many meetings as you can. You've got to take advantage of the kids being off school. So
absolutely. Yeah. Simon Corbett said he got a cup of hot soup in the face at Swindon. Yeah, but we don't care because you're top of the league. So yeah.
Was it oxtail or chicken? I want to know.
Then to make matters worse, Simon, did they invite you into the toilets on the back straight afterwards?
Dear me.
I think I want to know that.
Okay, we've got.
They weren't nice, were they?
Worst toilet.
Yeah.
We have another
award.
Yeah.
Come to Vauxhall. We'd love to see you in Suffolk.
Yeah, you say that now. If you go to Workington, stay at the Waverley Hotel.
Okay.
There you go, all the tips coming out.
Why?
If there is no meeting for 6 weeks, you could have run an NDL team, says Pete Clark.
More insight.
You could do, yeah.
I would like to see a few more NDL teams.
Birmingham certainly could have had enough extra dates to have run a team in the National League, wouldn't they, this year? So
I believe it's something that they're considering, because there's been a few questions about it on the Birmingham forum, so I think it might be something they're considering. Rich Thomas says, I saw the soup incident. Might have been my mate who did it. Right, I think on that note, we possibly better draw a line on that.
Yeah, I think life is a minestrone.
Yeah, oh, wow. 10cc. Okay, so as we said before, we're not entirely sure whether the next week or the week after will be our last one. Oh, we do need to say that we're on Wednesday next week as well.
Yeah, if we are next week, it'll be Wednesday. Yeah.
We're on the Wednesday next week, which hopefully, weather permitting, we will know the winners of the Premiership, the winners of the Championship.
Yeah, and we probably will already know the winner of the Prediction League as well, which is the most important one of the three.
Of course.
Yeah. And
yeah.
the Presenters Championship as well.
Yep.
The Lesser Cup.
Nobody cares about who wins that. I just care about who comes last.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Nobody wants to be last in that. Okay. Great show, guys. Speedway forever. Superb sport. As a 6-year fan, wonderful. Love you all.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian. I hope we can. Yeah, what we was talking about earlier. I hope we can get another 6 years in for you. It would be nice. Okay, well, we will see you next Wednesday. Everybody take care, and good luck to all your riders, and good luck to all the teams in the various championships, and hope there's no injuries. You take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Speedway Tavern. Speedway Tavern. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. What's the news?